Hello all, welcome to my channel. This is episode 9 in the LangGraph series. Today we'll be discussing how to use LangSmith for tracing in LangGraph. So what is LangSmith? So LangSmith is a cloud observability platform from LangChain designed to help developers to build, debug, monitor and evaluate LLM powered application. So here's a breakdown what it does. Tracing and debugging, monitoring, evaluation and collaboration. So by tracing and debugging we mean it will let you trace executions of your LangChain and LangGraph workflows step by step, seeing exactly how prompts, tooling, and chains are called. Now monitoring, it provides logs and matrices. You can track performance, latency, and errors in the production. Now finally, evaluation, it will let you test different LLM setups, compare responses, and run benchmarks to improve the reliability of your application. Now in collaboration, it makes it easier to teams to share experiments, traces, and evaluation. Now few important links we need to remember. LangSmith documentations, docs.langchain.com/langsmith/home will be using, and LangSmith app. In order to log into the LangSmith app, we need to go to the smith.langchain.com, and in order to get the LangSmith APIs, you follow this link api.smith.langchain.com. Let's see how the LangSmith platform looks like. So this is the LangSmith platform. If you go to the home screen, it will look like this, and here you can see the applications that I have logged. And if you want application also in LangSmith, and you need to click on new projects. So once you click on new projects, then you will see these configurations that you need to add in your project. So LangSmith tracing, that you need to add true. LangSmith endpoint, these are fixed values. First two are fixed values. Then LangSmith API key, the API key I'll show you how to generate the LangSmith API key. Then LangSmith project name and OpenAI API key. So OpenAI API key you need to generate from OpenAI. If you don't know how to generate OpenAI API key, you can see my first or second video in the LangGraph series. Now in order to generate a Smith API, you need to go to the settings. You need to click on the API key. You need to add some description, like mostly for the project name, the default workspace that you need to. So it will be if you do not have multiple workspaces, then you can select whatever the workspace is available. Then you need to select the expiration date, that is how long your API key will be valid, that is for 1 year, or you can see the never, that will never expire. And then you can finally, once you do that, you can finally generate an API key. So it's active. So I'll not be generating an API key because it's already available for me. I'll go ahead with the already generated API key. Now going to the project, once we generate API key and we are okay with what all configurations are needed or environment variables are needed, we'll go to our project and we'll configure all the API keys. We need OpenAI API key that I have generated from the OpenAI site, and then LangSmith tracing, we made it true. LangSmith endpoint, https api.smith.langchain.com, and LangSmith API key that I have just shown you how to generate a LangSmith API key, that you need to put it here. And LangSmith project name, so based on the project name, it will add traces in the LangSmith. So I'll keep it as a LangGraph demo 1, and I have everything ready. So I'll be using the same project that I used in the episode 7 for the LangGraph reflection agent. Now I'll simply go ahead and run it again, and I will show you how the tracing works. Now let's run it. So I given a prompt like India's landing on moon. I just wanted to generate an essay for that, and it will continuously loop through. So this is the initial draft, and then initial feedback got generated. That is, the feedback means that how does that draft looks like, and based on the feedback and initial draft, it will generate the revised version. So final output is the revised draft. India successfully landed in Chandrayaan 3, and so there are some intermediate steps. So revised drafts is in India based on the initial draft feedback. It created the updated feedback, and next feedback looks good, so it generated the final output. And you can see that this is the graph that we used, that is initially draft has been generated, then feedback has been generated, then based on the feedback we we created another revised versions of that initial draft. Then it went back for feedback, and feedback it told that it looks good, came here, and it finally produced the final result. Now let's go back to LangSmith again. Now if you go to home, you see I added the project name as the LangGraph demo _1, and it added the traces here. Now let's see the traces. How does the trace looks like? Dive deep, then we'll see the all traces. Now how this execution exactly happened, now you will get to see it here. So first is draft called, then reflection node called, then after reflection the revise node called, then reflection node called, and it ended. So first draft versions I have shown you, and then reflection is that initial feedback that has been generated. So let's see what is the initial draft version. So initial draft version is the India successfully landed its Chandrayaan-3 mission on Moon South Pole on August 23rd, 2023. This achievement made India fourth country to land on the moon, etc., etc. And now for that the chat OpenAI has been called. Now in the reflect node, you see how the reflection happened. Reflection is that for this particular draft that is available here, it added a feedback. It looks good. The text is clear, concise, effectively conveying the key details of the India's Chandrayaan-3 mission. There are no noticeable errors, and it provides a complete overview of the achievement. Okay. Now it, based on that feedback, it revised the output. Now the final draft is India successfully landed on Chandrayaan-3 mission in the Moon South Pole in the August 23rd. This remarkable achievement positions India as the fourth country and whatever, and etc. So this is the final version, and then it came to reflect and it ended it here. You can see this is the draft, feedback, final, and the user prompt, India's landing on moon, and the count has been 1. The count was a variable. So now it has ended. So you can see the step by step how the execution happened. Okay, not only that, you can see what is the chat OpenAI model has been called, that is GPT-4 Mini, and it took 2.68 seconds for the generating response, and for the reflection you can see that it took 2.13 seconds was required, and for revise it was 1.43 seconds for the chat OpenAI call, and for the reflection it took 1.03 seconds. One more important thing that you will see it here, that is the total number of token has been used. So total number of token has been used to 466, and what is the total cost for the tokens, that is 0.00 for now. And you can see it here, last seven days how many things has been called, and LLM calls, how many LLM, specifically if you want to see the LLM, what are the LLM calls, or if you can check for all runs. Okay, now if you seek the all runs, it will show you in that particular way, but I prefer using it in the tracing, so that it will give you a hierarchy format, so that you can check the steps. Now what are the draft, reflect, revise, all of these things? These are, and if you see it here also the draft, feedback, final, then count. From where this is coming? This is coming from the agent state variables that we define in our project. Now if you see it here in the schema, now you see the draft is a variable that we iterated or modified throughout that particular execution of the agent. Draft is the initial version of the response that we stored. Then after evaluations we got the feedback, and after the feedback we revised that particular draft version. No feedback looks good, then we populated the final, and then in the count we are checking the track number of loops. So in case that it is continuously giving the improvement comment, like it still needs improvement, after a certain number of iterations will end the agent. Okay, and the user prompt, where we stored the prompt that we have taken from the user. So as you see it here, so LangSmith is a very important place where you can see the step-by-step tracing. So here you can see that how can you make improvement, how can you optimize further your application. Not only that, you can optimize your cost as well. If you see there are a lot of unnecessary token usage is there, then you can tweak your application in order to optimize performance as well as the token usage, so that it does not incur huge amount of cost. There are few more additional functionalities available like monitoring, dataset experiments, annotations and queues, prompt engineering, which prompt will be suitable, that you can test it here inside LangSmith as well. And finally the deployment. Now deployment is available only for the paid versions, so if you have taken the paid versions, then you can deploy your LangChain or LangGraph projects in this section here. So this ends that demo here. If you have liked my video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.